Previously, as Ji-young enters the school, everyone is surprised to learn that he is a gangster. Jong Seok compliments him on his flashy entrance, and Lee Yi-ji joins them as they walk together. The teachers are puzzled, but he sees Jae-sang and panics, claiming that he can't handle the situation alone. The principals hold a meeting where they discuss what to do with Ji-young because they are all afraid that he is from a gangster's family. He makes the decision that he will make him transfer school, shocking the rest of the teachers. We are then introduced to Hwang Dae-hyeon, the third-year student council president, who is both surprised and suspicious that Ji-young is the son of a gangster. Meanwhile, Ji-young walks into class, where one of his classmates curses him and the rest of the students gossip about him. As he becomes concerned that the entire class has turned against him, he flees, bumping into some of his friends, who also ignore him. His childhood friends rage at him, accusing him of being the son of a gangster when he admits he is. One of his friends is frustrated that he didn't tell him. We get a flashback 10 years ago, where Jong-yoon mentions he really hates gangsters and wants to become a police officer to lock them all up. Ji-young at that moment decided not to tell the truth. Fast forward 10 years, he still hasn't told him the truth. Jun Seok and Lee Yi-ji walk in, wondering why he ran away, where his two old friends say his new friends are calling him a loser and walks away. Ji-young breaks down. As they get some fresh air outside, Song-juk tries to comfort him, but Lee Yi-ji says he's not acting like himself. He then asks her if she feels better after smoking, asking why she can, but he can't. He mentions that he is the son of a gangster and that it should suit him better, and he also calls out Lee Yi-ji for being a bully and a bad person, making her angry and throwing her cigarette as she stops smoking. Ji-young realizes that people are treating him unfairly because he is the son of a gangster and made it appear as if he harmed them when all he did was act like an angel to everyone. He is surprised at how everyone has turned against him. He receives a phone call from the student council president, and they meet on the school rooftop. He asks if he is the son of a gangster, and Ji-young asks why it is important to know, to which he responds that it could affect the school atmosphere and spread to other schools. He says this isn't like him, causing Ji-young to tense up and hit the wall as he walks away. Meanwhile, Shin Jae-young-cheol continues to be beaten up by the uncles and is advised to drop out of school. Shin Jae-young-cheol wonders what he can do to exact revenge and considers Ji-young's weaknesses, which he recalls his childhood friend Soo-jin. Later, as Jong Seok walks around, he notices Jong-yoon on a bench and mentions how Ji-young is struggling because the entire school has turned their back on him. He tells him not to be afraid of Ji-young because he's a nice guy and that he's only afraid of his uncles, not him. His friend realizes he was too emotional towards him before and understands he needs to find Ji-young and apologize to him. As he returns to class, two students, Jong Jae and Seong Dae, walk in assaulting them, wondering where Ji-young is because they want to talk to him, but since he's not in the class, they walk away and run into Jong Seok, where one of them panics. Meanwhile, Soo-jin is looking for Shin Jae-young-cheol, noticing him all beaten up and wondering what happened. He explains Ji-young did it, and he asks her if Ji-young has any weaknesses as she uses her last two brain cells to think of one. She finally realizes it's herself. He smirks as he knows he can use her to his advantage. They walk together to his home where Soo-jin asks if they are dating again, which he responds yes. They walk into his apartment. We all know what they are gonna do in there. Lee Yi-ji friends ask her if she's dating Ji-young, which she says she's not, but that she likes him not because he's a gangster. Suddenly, the two students who were reintroduced to previously walk up to them asking if they know where Ji-young is. He appears behind them. They are shocked that it's the same Ji-young they knew, who is a total loser. They try to greet his hand, but he ignores it with a stone-cold look face. Ji-young asks if they are friends with Shin Jae-young-cheol, which they say yes. As he shakes his hand, he crushes it. His friend tries to punch Ji-young, but he dodges it, grabbing his hand and crushing it as well, sending them both to their knees. While they flee, Lee Yi-ji watches, who is turned on what she just saw. He then requests Lee Yi-ji's assistance in informing all of the school's bullies that he intends to beat them all up. As Soo-jin and Shin Jae-young-cheol walk back to school, the two who were beaten up tell him that they were beaten up by Ji-young. He is surprised that they were defeated by him alone rather than his uncles. Shin Jae-young-cheol considers asking Do Park for assistance. They intend to gather as many bullies as possible in order to match the gangsters. Meanwhile, Lee Yi-ji begins telling him about the bullies' alliance with the other neighboring schools. They begin with the top guy in their school, Do Park, who is friends with Jong Seok. She also mentions that he is her older brother and that the Shin Jae-young-cheol group of bullies consists of 11 people, and that the alliance formed by the other schools is known as the Super Assholes Alliance, and that it consists of over 100 people. Ji-young decides to prioritize his school over beating every bully in order to become the baddest person. The third-year council president asks Do Park if he knows anything about Ji-young, which he does not. Shin Gyeong-cheol runs into Do Park, who is enraged that his face is bruised. He removes his cap and he also bursts out laughing. They discuss Ji-young and how they will deal with him. He also mentions Jong Seok, but Do Park says that Shin Gyeong-cheol is more important to him than Jong Seok. Their plan is to bring Jong Seok into the gymnasium room for a one-on-one fight, with the rest of the bullies jumping in to assist him. He then informs the rest of the bullies about the plan before they begin. As Ji-young and Lee Yi-jae return to class, Jong-yoon awaits them, and they talk it out and become friends again. They all travel to his house together after class, and as they arrive at the entrance, one of his uncles mentions that he has special training again and will be unable to attend school for a few days, so they bid him farewell. The next day, as Jong Seok enters class to sleep, Shin Gyeong-cheol begins their plan by slapping him while he is sleeping, shocking the entire class and telling him to come to the gymnasium as he flees. As he arrives at the gymnasium, all of the bullies, including the Super Eshel Alliance, are waiting for him. Jong Seok gets up and decides to go to the gymnasium. Shin Gyeong-cheol tells them to attack, but no one makes him panic. Jong Seok punches him in the face as everyone watches, as he wonders why Do Park is not getting the signal. Ji-young arrives and tries to punch him, but dodges it and uses his special move pickaxe, grabbing his hand and squeezing it to death, as Shin Gyeong-cheol grabs a knife and lunges towards Ji-young when Gai Sang suddenly says weapons are prohibited in a one-on-one fight. He panics and drops the knife after noticing both of his friends' heads are shaved bald. Shin Gyeong-cheol claims that the fight is unfair because he was punched by Jong Seok. Ji-young then requests that he punch him as well to make it fair, shocking everyone. Ji-young leaps onto Shin Gyeong-cheol, pinning him to the ground and crushing both of his hands. Ji-young then thinks about all the things he has done to him, making him even angrier as he begins punching him in the face. But Jong Seok stops him because Shin Gyeong-cheol has already lost consciousness. Ji-young informs the remaining bullies that they are the next target. Myeong-jun tries to explain himself to Ji-young, but he slaps his hand away, stating that he will also go after the Super Eshel Alliance. As they were about to fight, Do Park tells both of them to calm down and that the whole point of this was to welcome the Fire Bear Gang's successor. As they all leave, Gai Sang congratulates young master on everything he's done today. As Ji-young and Jong Seok walk out, Ji-young explains how he thought he'd feel good beating him up, but he didn't, and Jong Seok advises him to think about what direction he wants to go in, while Gai Sang thanks Do Park, as they are both close friends from Judo Club. Gai Sang pays a visit to the knocked-out Shin Gyeong-cheol and pulls out his trusty razor, shading him completely. When he wakes up, he is annoyed that he has become completely hairless, as well as annoyed that he has been duped by everyone, including his own friends. He begins to act crazy, planning his revenge because he has nothing to lose now. Ji-young realizes he has become a pretty bad person and decides to text his crush Soo-jin to confess his feelings to her. However, she does not pick up his call, which surprises him because she always does. As he arrives home, he notices his father, who is congratulating him and giving him a hug for becoming the boss of the second year. They end up celebrating with champagne. Ji-young takes a sip but does not enjoy it, so the father lets the other uncles drink the champagne. Ji-young and his father talk on the roof, and his father tells him to burn all of his award certificates to prove he's turned bad. Ji-young realizes he needs to change, ends up burning them all. His father congratulates him again, and as he walks down to tell the rest of the uncles, Ji-young is still thinking about Soo-jin, wondering if he should call again, when he unexpectedly receives a call from Lee Yi-jae. When asked why she called late at night, Lee Yi-jae says she has something important to tell him and is on his way to meet him at the park. As they talk in the park, they realize it's the same place they ran to after throwing the rock at Shin Gyeong-cheol. Ji-young touches her face to make sure she's not hiding any scars, which causes her to blush. She quickly walks away and leaves on her bike, flustered. Meanwhile, a few of the bullies meet with Shin Gyeong-cheol, who explains his plan. Some of them call him crazy and leave, while others remain interested in assisting. The next day at school, the third-year council president wants to talk to Ji-young to tell him that the head teacher wants to transfer him to another school. Ji-young does not want to transfer school because he has done nothing wrong himself, so he explains to him how he can stay in school with his plan of school violence eradication campaign, which means that if he beats up all the bad students, the school and teachers will benefit as well because they will be under control. They then explain it to the head teacher, who agrees to it after some hesitation. As the school day ends, Jong Seok and Ji-un walk home where a bunch of the bullies are watching them beginning their plan. They run into his little sister, where Ji-un finds out that little girl he's protected in the past was his sister all along, and that she told him to protect Ji-un in school. The bullies watch the entire interaction knowing that he has a younger sister now. The next day, while Ji-un is walking around, he runs into Dae-un again, and she treats him to some fish cake before they play in the park. But this time Shin Gyeong-chil is watching from a distance. They also notice Jong Seok limping because he had leg day today at the judo club. He sees this as the perfect opportunity to strike. They all rush up to him with bats, and because he lacks leg strength, he begins to be beaten up, but manages to punch a couple of them in the face while doing so. Unfortunately, he loses consciousness for a moment after being hit in the head, and they tied him up. Suddenly, Ji-un and his little sister return from playing, and they notice Jong Seok has been kidnapped, causing Ji-un to rage and his little sister to cry. Ji-un vows to bring him back safely. If you guys want part 4, please let me know in the comments, and please like the video.